But let's go ahead and spend the next 50 minutes talking about the potential impact of AI on, I'll say, security operations, cyber operations, or any operational aspect of the technology aspects for our organizations. My name is Ben Corll, so I am a security evangelist with Zscaler. What the world does that mean? I'm a CISO in residence, field CISO, whatever title they want to give me today, that's the one I'll throw up on the slide. So they call me, they tell me where to go, I present whatever they ask me to present, I answer questions. So by all means, very informal. If you have questions, throw questions out. I have 1 or 3 questions as we start going through, especially like on slide 3 or 4. I'll have a question, but by all means, if you have questions, throw those out, and we will try to make sure that we have some time at the end for Q&A as well. This is what we plan to talk about: current state of security, the rise of AI, AI enabled with the attackers. Today, what are we seeing? What are we seeing coming out of the bad sector, the hackers, cyber criminals that are out there? How are they utilizing AI? What are we seeing? And then we'll be talking about, well, the whole thing about this talk is also the AI enabled for defenders. If the cyber criminals are using AI, then we too ought to be using AI. So we'll be talking about some of the potential use cases of AI to help us to be more effective and to help us to be more efficient. And those two things are different. So high degrees of efficacy. We want to be effective before we work on efficiencies. And then we'll get to the end with a wrap-up, Q&A, things like that as well. So any questions before we move on? I was gonna ask Wesley, if that would be wise. All right, current states. How well are we doing? How well are we as the security professionals doing inside our organizations? As an industry, as a whole, how well are we doing? We doing good?
It's a debatable question. It fluctuates daily throughout the organization, depending on whose organization you work for. I can say that we're doing good right now, and then tomorrow we suck.
Going from doing well today to sucking tomorrow. So does that mean you suck today?
No, right now
it's just revealed tomorrow?
We can do that several times in the same day.
Several times in the same day, you know? See?
hour by hour.
See, I live in North Carolina, so in North Carolina, it can be 30 degrees when I wake up, it can be 80 degrees at noon, and it can be 50 degrees in the evening as well. So yes, we go through several ranges throughout the day. Yes, so we can be doing well in the morning and not so well but that goes back to my question of, then is it just revealed that you weren't doing well all along?
But the overall aspect of the question, hopefully it's a yes.
Hopefully it's a yes. Hopefully we are doing well. Hopefully we are doing the right things for the right reasons in the right ways at the right time. Yes. If we take a look at our industry as a whole, current state of security, we continue to see investment. We continue to see going to our boards and, going to your executive teams. Your board doesn't allocate your budget. They allocate the budget for the company, and then the executives will give you budget. We continue to see investments in security. We continue to see globally the investments, but we continue to see year over year that the cyber criminals continue to be successful. So are we not doing well, or are they just doing better? And why are they doing better? Why are they continuing to be successful? What are they doing that we're not able to predict or we're not able to prevent? How do I go from being good today to sucking tomorrow? What did I not do today that means I'm going to suck tomorrow?
Sadly, in our line, that is almost a trick question because we don't know.
We don't know what they're doing. We don't know what they've learned. We don't know. But we've got all these IOCs, we've got these TTPs, we've got all of these intelligence that we're gathering, but what are we doing with that as well? And did we learn, or did we not have the ability, do we not have the right resources to actually action some of those things as well? So yes, it's like, and I'm a blue teamer at heart. I've lived a red teamer life as well, but as a blue teamer at heart, I've got to patch all 100 of my doors, windows, and all of my entry points as well. The cyber criminals, of course, have to find one point of entry. So is their job easier? Well, my job is to make their job as hard as possible. So maybe them having to find that, making them work hard to find it, but if they do find it, they're going to be the one that's successful. And then hopefully my executive team doesn't look at me being the CISO and say, oh, you failed. I do take it personally. If my organization is attacked and they are going to be successful, I take that personally because it is my program. So I hope you all take it personally when you're attacked as well. But I want them to look at my organization, see the controls that I have in place, and like, oh, wow, this organization is pretty difficult, and I want them moving on to somebody else. I'm not saying I want your network to be broken into, but I'd rather yours than mine as well. Nothing personal, I promise. I don't think we have a spending problem. If we look at some of the forecasts of what we're overall as an industry spending globally on cybersecurity, estimated by the end of this year, we will be spending $500 billion just on security. This is OpEx, this is CapEx, this is consulting, services, all of that. This is everything but the salaries for all of us in this room. $500 billion is being spent. Are we spending it on the right things? Are we spending it on the, no? What are we spending it on?
I think we're focusing too much on the tools instead of the big wins.
Yeah.
Training that we manufacture.
Well, I mean, that's another thing. We rely so much on tools, we forget our basic foundation of why we got there to begin with.
Correct. And tools don't solve the problem. I sell tools. I do.
It's like, okay, if we didn't have Google Maps, can you open up a paper map to figure out where you are? That's where we're at.
Oh my goodness, yes. I don't know how we got around before GPS, but I promise you, every time I got restationed, I drove from Camp Pendleton to Camp Lejeune. So I drove from California to North Carolina. I printed off MapQuest, and I drove. I have no idea how I got there. All I know is I got an I-40, and I just drove for days. No GPS.
No one knows what a topographical map is either.
No. Yeah. Oh, yes. So are we spending on the right things in the right ways for the right reasons? And last one of how well are we doing? Well, if you take a look at this last graph that I'm throwing up here, over 80% of organizations have had at least one successful cyber attack against them in the last year. And if you look at the bottom, they've had 6 or more successful cyber attacks. Now, my son's in data science, does all kind of statistics, all of that, in learning all of that in university. So he'll tell you that statistics can tell you whatever story you want to see. I get it, successful cyber attacks, this could be a phishing message that was clicked on and lost credentials. Doesn't really mean that they had ransomware. All of them are going to be lumped together, but still, a bleak picture. How well are we doing? Well, it doesn't seem like we're doing all that well. And why? Because our industry continues to change. When I started in our industry, a little over 30 years ago, I know I look great for my age. I appreciate that. When I started about 30 years ago, none of these three that I'm calling disruptive technologies even existed. Maybe a thought was there of mobile, IoT, some of the cloud and moving things like that. None of those technologies existed. But every time we have a disruptive technology, it changes the way that we do things. And that's one more technology, that's one more thing that we have to protect. It's one more way of expanding our attack surface. And whether we're ready to adopt it or not, our organization is pushing to use it. That shadow IT, when cloud started to come out, whether we were moving to the cloud or not, the business was moving and adapting or adopting. Same thing with AI. Whether you think you have AI being utilized or not, whether you thought you were blocking it, it was being utilized. We'll see that in the second half.
Always under wraps. They don't tell
Yes.
you about it, but eventually
You'll find it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Security teams right now, we think we're doing well until tomorrow we find out that we suck. Because our security teams, on average, we have 11,000 events that are coming in or alerts that need something to be done. And every time I roll out a new tool, that creates more alerts, and it makes this problem worse. The problem is that bottom number. 32% of our time is going to be spent chasing false positives. Our tools are coming out, but they're giving us these alerts. Come take a look at me. So our SOC analysts are spending a third of their time chasing ghosts and false positives.
Well, that just goes they false positives?
Are they?
Or are they just a configuration issue that causes these false positives?
Yes. So it's detecting on something. It could be a configuration issue. Could be a hasn't been tuned. Yeah. Yeah. And I'd rather them chase. Yeah.
It's like if you configure this and fine tune it first before you go out and hunt, 90% of your problems are most likely solved.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
I said, well,
Maybe. Got it.
Maybe 30 years ago, but not now.
Absolutely.
You can at least try to mitigate it, and at least we'll be decent.
Yes.
I mean, that's how it is.
Improvement. And and that.
We'll always improve because we have to evolve with the technology. The more it evolves, the more influence it gets, the more chasing the ghost.
Yeah, and this is why we have to stay hungry. This is why we stay curious. This is why we have to continue to educate. And every time we roll out a new tool, you have to take into account the training and the cost of upskilling all of your employees as well.
The capabilities, what it can do, how far it can reach,
Yep.
where its access, X number of things. It blows my mind. I don't know about you, but
It blows his mind. But yes, adversaries. Adversaries are moving quicker than we are. When I used to build systems, and back to NT40, put a system on the internet, it would take 3 to 4 months before it is discovered, and you start seeing queries against it, or pings against it, and things. Before it was being discovered was 3 or 4 months. By the time we got to Windows 2003, we were down to a couple of weeks. Now, if you put a system on the internet, take a system, build a system, and attach it to the internet. Now, the fastest time, what? Launch day. So you're saying it's the same day. The quickest that we have been able to discern is that it was discovered and compromised in just over 2 minutes. It's not 3 or 4 months any longer. It's not months, weeks, days, none of that. We're down to a couple of minutes.
I'm just thinking about games. Every new game, there's a new patch that same day.
That same day. What did we not know about? Absolutely. So if we look at the continuing evolution of technologies that are out there, and that next disruptive technology, when AI has been around for, the concept has been around for decades. Yeah. It's been in use for at least a decade. But in 2022, it became available to everybody when OpenAI came out with ChatGPT. And now everybody's using it. Everybody wants to use it. For many, many purposes that are out there. So we're going to be talking about some of these AI use cases and what is it being used for. Now, AI looks better on my screen than that screen. AI.
It's the projector.
AI can be wonderful. Absolutely can be wonderful. And my daughter is in UI UX, and she is using AI in order to make the things that she used to do manually so much better with web design and graphic design and doing all of those things. That creative nature, she's able to use AI to be even more creative and to create things better, faster, maybe cheaper. But AI can also be dangerous. AI doesn't care. AI is neither good nor bad. AI is agnostic. What are we seeing about AI, though? And yes, well, I'm from Zscaler, so I'm using the Zscaler slide here of some of our AI findings. What are we seeing on the use and the increased use? We've seen 800 applications in the last year, and you see at top, I'm looking from February 24 to December of 24. I will give you my scope, that's out there. But a 3,500% increase in the usage of AI in that 11-month period of 2024. Half of the transactions, well, almost 60% of those transactions are still being blocked. So we're seeing an increase in the use of AI applications. You're seeing almost 60% of those transactions that are being blocked, and still the number one application that's being used by transaction volume is still ChatGPT. But the most blocked app that is out there is still ChatGPT as well. What are we seeing? There's a whole ecosystem now of applications that are native AI now. Almost every tool that wants to be out there says it's AI powered. Everything's using AI, but we're seeing all of these native AI tools that are coming as well. Are you ready for them? Can you see them? Are you properly classifying? Do you know what your users are using? If you think you're blocking all of the AI tools, There are new ones that are coming out nearly every single day. So who's doing nothing but going out and monitoring and seeing the usage? Yeah, guess again.
Man, thousands. It's ridiculous. It's like the internet bubble on crack.
Internet
Like,
bubble.
Just the explosion of it. And
Yes.
everyone wants to use it, and everyone wants to build it.
Everybody wants to use it. Everybody wants to include it. They want it on their slide deck. Marketing wants to make sure that it's there as well. What what industries are using AI? And the top industry in 2023 until middle of 2024 was manufacturing. What the world was manufacturing using AI for? Because AI is great at analyzing large amounts of data and finding patterns in there and helping them to identify other ways of building efficiencies. And can I do this 3 seconds faster? Well, in a manufacturing organization, if you can find those efficiencies, that could be millions of dollars in savings. Now we're seeing the financial and the insurance industries for much the same reasons. These actuarials getting access to all of this data. Businesses are using it for that historical data for those purposes as well. It's not everybody using it from a Gen AI perspective of help me write a paper, help me do this. I get it. Most of you are probably using Gen AI to create your LinkedIn posts. I'm not judging. All right. Questions. What do you think of the top 5 Gen AI apps that are being used today? I've already said number 1, ChatGPT. Copilot.
Gemini.
What's number 2? DeepSeek. DeepSeek is up there on the block list. Number 2 is Grammarly.
3 would be
Copilot, DeepL, and then and Quillbot. Give me that. It's at number 2.
I do have a question, if you don't mind, sir. Concerning around Copilot, if your organization is licensed big time with Microsoft and Azure, and they've implemented Copilot, your thoughts on that? Because this number 3 on blocking, is it a bad thing or a good thing?
This isn't on blocking. This is on utilizing.
Utilizing. So
Yes.
But your other slide had it as one of the top 3 is blocking.
And in 2 slides, I'll show it as blocking too as well.
So it concerns me then.
Yes, but that's the thing is you have all these co-pilots and you're trying to get out there and is it the one that you're authorizing, but you have these organizations that are still blocking AI across the board. And they will still trying to go to these co-pilots. You still go out there, your Microsoft Word pops up and says, hey, would you like to try this? Oh yeah, go ahead. And you click yes. So your Word now goes out because you're in Office 365, E3, E5, whatever. It's still going to pop up. It's still going to, because Microsoft still wants to throw that out there. And it's still going to go out there even though it's going to be denied or declined. So, and therefore, or you can redirect and people try to go to ChatGPT and it redirects them to your internal version of Copilot. Depending on what tool you have, you may see that as a declined transaction, not just a redirect as well. Depends on what the code comes back as. All good stuff. Other apps that are there, the top 9 it was 9. They did not have a top 10. They only did 9. But last couple slides here. Threat Labs, most used apps, ChatGPT, Grammarly, Copilot. I'm still worried about that second one, that Grammarly.
Grammarly records your information. It's been proven.
Yes, and they don't delete it. So what type of corporate information are you given? Were you using it to see that you were using the right words, so effect instead of affect or affect? It was giving you all of that guidance, but what type of corporate information was learned and being held by Grammarly and being used? And they say it's just the metadata, but you wrote stuff and it read and it interpreted and it did something with it.
We used to allow Grammarly until we found that out. We deep dived into it.
Yeah.
And now it's blocked on all aspects of our organization. You
Yeah.
can't get into it at all. You can't do nothing with Grammarly.
See, and that's that some of those risk assessments of these tools need to be done, not just reading their statements, not just reading their marketing materials, but actually testing them out when they gets into your environment. And decrypting and looking at these things and packet capturing and seeing what data is actually going to those applications as well. On the last one, we also saw Adobe I/O as one of the top most blocked websites as well. 68% of people, though, if you are straight blocking AI, 68% of people are still saying, so 2/3 are saying they will use their personal account to continue to use these applications. They will jump to their phone that probably still has access to your corporate mail. They will get what they wanted so they can still feed this in. They're still using it even if you're blocking it. You just lost visibility. You just lost control. You just lost your data because you wanted to block this. I'm not saying it's bad to block it. Just be aware that 2/3 of people are still going to utilize it using their personal account or their personal device. Now, I've only got 3 slides here for this before we actually get to the meat of what we came here for, to talk about some of the possible benefits and enhancements of utilizing AI for the defenders or for all of us. But we are also seeing that the cyber criminals are utilizing AI today. What are they doing with it? And again, AI in and of itself, it's neither good, it's not bad. AI is a tool in the hands of the person that is out there. So reconnaissance with ChatGPT has become very, very simple. As I said, I'm a blue teamer at heart, but I did live for a couple of years as a red teamer as well. So I did reconnaissance. And with ChatGPT, you can type things in like, give me the top VPN vulnerabilities by CISA, or leave CISA off, that's been reported over the last 5 years. And this is what ChatGPT is going to give you, this list. It's fantastic. If I was still in that red teamer, it would have taken me 6 to 8 hours to create this table. Having to go out there, having to manually go and source all of my information. There's great websites that are out there, but of course, having to reference all of those, it would have taken me hours to put this together. Here, it took me longer to type the prompt than it took ChatGPT to return. Now, you can ask a second question. Utilizing this table, your next prompt is, utilizing this table, the CVEs listed in the table below, are there any of those CVEs that have active exploit code, or at least proof of concept code from sites like exploit-db? And if so, it generates you a new table. Fantastic. Again, would have taken me a couple of hours to find that out. It knows within 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah, but is it accurate? That's the question.
Is it accurate? I get that.
There could be some bias involved as well.
But there could be bias on what I'm putting together as well, depending on my sites.
That's how we think. That's how
I agree. I agree with you on that as well. But then I can ask a third question. And a third question is saying, on this second table that's there, assuming the information is accurate, well, whether it's accurate or not, can I actually do anything with it? But I can ask a third question of saying, okay, then I have the second table, utilizing a site like Shodan. Are there any of these CVEs? Are there any CVEs in the second table that are listed on sites like Shodan associated with any IPs and domain names? And then I get a very actionable list that took me less than 60 seconds. Again, longer to type, but it probably would have taken me a day and a half to put it together. So reconnaissance has become much better. There are 2 things that I generally hear and stop me when I get to this is ChatGPT is not going to answer questions number 2 and 3. I'm going to agree with you. ChatGPT version 1 and version 2 would. ChatGPT as of version 3 doesn't, because it has guardrails that are there. It's on version 4 now, yes.
If you go pro.
On Pro, I'm not sure.
Or maybe like 4.5.
But 5 is at least in beta, so correct. But you've got Rogue GPT, you've got Worm GPT, you've got Poison GPT. You have these LLMs by bad people for bad people that don't have those guardrails. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to see, Google has AI now. When you search on Google,
Yeah.
it's their AI.
Gemini.
And yeah, I just got all the same things that ChatGPT did.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going neck and neck.
So they don't even have to use ChatGPT. They can just
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a plethora of tools that are out there, but Google has also come out with a LLM for security researchers and vulnerability management that you can go out and query specific things. It's to curated for security data so that we can find things before they're used against us as well. So I like some of the things coming out of Google as well. So more to go play with, more to go learn. Well, again, go play. And it's kind of like that Rogue GPT and Worm GPT. I want to feed that to my red team. Let them go play with it and see how our organization would behave with some of these things used against them.
This is what I do. This is what I deal with.
Nice.
The problem I find with phishing campaigns that are done AI, they're too perfect.
They're too perfect. That's exactly right. So within 7 of these queries, and I'm actually down to 5 because prompt management, you continue to improve some of your things. I can share what my prompts are, but still, using 7 queries, I can create a phishing campaign that my security team cannot discern that it's a phishing message. So your users. So what are some of the queries that I'm running? So I'm going to run queries that say, go find the branding website, brand.acme.com or acme.com/brand. I'm getting the right logos. I'm getting the right colors. I'm getting the right schemas, all of those things. I'm saying, what language pack is the website written in? Well, it's in English. Yeah. American English? Is it British? What English? Do we replace the Z's with S's and add additional U's in there? What is that language pack? Go out to the social media sites. What are some of the things that are out there? What are some of the things that they've announced in the news lately? And we're going to add a link to that in a signature that we're going to put at the bottom of the email that we're sending out there as well. So it's relevant, it's timely, and it looks like it's legitimate. So with all of those things, with that 7 queries, I can create a phishing campaign or this template that we're sending out that is really, really hard. Those 9 red flags to identify as phishing mail, they're gone. There's no misspellings. What you query the website and asking, do they call it to contact the support desk? Well, is it support desk, help desk, IT? You're using the right vernacular for that organization because you've gone through their job websites. You've seen some of the technology. You're making the right references when you're sending these things out. Reconnaissance has become so much easier that these attackers are able to discern a lot of relevant information to dupe your users, ours, all of our users, into clicking on these things.
And that's what drives me nuts is we teach our employees what to look for.
Yes.
Has destroyed it. So now you have to teach your employees. If it's too perfect, be cautious. If it doesn't have what you consider a human element in the language,
Yes.
be cautious. If it talks like a computer, it's a computer.
Yes. So is there a and we'll talk a little bit about human in the loop when we get to trustworthy AI and stuff as well. But look for a typo. Then you'll know it's from me because I don't create anything that's perfect. Got it.
The next thing, and I'm sure you've got it on there, is now they're teaching AI on phishing campaigns to add in hologlyphic Aztec characters, Latin, Greek.
Yeah.
Things that look like an O but are not really an O.
Yes.
Things that look like a G. But are not.
See, and this is why I think, and on the second half, we're not going to get into this. This is why some of our tools are going to have to be going to be better because our human eye is not going to discern the difference between that A or the O and being a different character. So our tools have to do better, and we can get into a religious debate. I'm okay with that. We can get into a religious debate after this of whether you want to send phishing messages, whether it's okay to send phishing messages. If a message lands in your user's mailbox, have you already failed? If you're relying on them to make a decision, has your processes failed? Has your tools failed? I have colleagues, previous organizations, that would sit there and say they don't want to do any security awareness training at all because they think it's a waste of time, waste of money, waste of resources. Just invest that in better email security, gateway security, invest in better tools and technology, and take it out of a user's hands because the users are the weakest link. Well, your tools at some point is going to fail. Your people at some point are going to fail. I hope the combination of the two is going to help keep my organization safe.
Well, we usually do with login, so you may be able to look at the metadata and where it's being directed
Yep.
at. Because come on,
Oh.
it still makes mistakes.
Everybody makes mistakes, absolutely. Speaking of mistakes, it's not just the cyber criminals that are out there, it's also our employees and the use of employees that are out there that can have unintentional consequences for your organization. So very early on, 2022, you saw Samsung. Yes, so upload source code to these LLMs out there saying, why will my code not compile? And you upload your source code to the cloud. And all of a sudden, is that a data breach? Now, I'm sure it's not writing all of your, and it's not relearning, and it's not retraining, but your data is now out there that's in the cloud as well. Unintended consequences. That's the question. Is it a breach? Is it a security breach? Loss of intellectual property to an unknown entity. Well, maybe known entity, you know it's going to, but you don't know what they're doing with that and if they're writing all of that.
A whole bunch of eyes, learning.
Yep. So.
Of all source code's already out there. Because
Yeah.
even development teams are only contributing 10 to 18% of the original code.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I mean, I'm a CPE myself. I'm a cut and paste engineer. Why am I going to create something net new? I'm going to find out what's already there. I'm going to take it, download it. I'm going to make the basic modifications that I need for my use case, and I'm going to roll out. I mean, that's how we did scripting in the 90s as well. Nobody.
It's not just scripting, it's dependency libraries.
Yes. So most of that's already out there as well, being passed around, being used. I thought you were going to go with, it's already stored in GitHub and, the repositories and everything in the cloud, so it's already in the cloud, but you're right.
I mean, even open source, there's certain limitations and legalities behind their agreements, too.
Yes.
It's not just here, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, and contracts are there, and those are in administrative control, and I love administrative controls. I do. I work with lawyers every day, but that piece of paper is not going to stop that data from walking out your organization.
I play with my own little hobby and say, hey.
You have hobbies?
Yes.
Nice.
I code.
I travel around, getting on airplanes is my hobby, apparently. Now, in the last 20 or so minutes before you all kick me out, the AI revolution, absolutely happening. There are 3 different things with AI to help us enhance from a security operation, cyber operations, technology operations, all of those as well. We've got this, we've already talked a little bit about this predictive analytics, predictive AI, large amounts of data. AI is fantastic at going through large amounts of data and finding patterns. Humans, we go through, we can't discern whether a language pack is that, whether that's an O, whether that's a 0. And that's using standard, and then when people start obfuscating that on purpose and intentionally that we can't see it into, but that is what technology does well. So AI does that very, very well for us, and it scales and it does it through large amounts of data, and it can sit there with that predictive of the last time you were breached. These were the 15 things that happened. All right, great. We've seen 13 of those 15 just happen again. Is it time to send an alert? Is it time to bring a human into the loop? Is it time to take something? Or utilizing maybe an agentic AI of, hey, learning from all of these, can we autonomously, can we automatically put a control in place, a technical control to block something at this point and alert somebody that something else is going on as well? So there are 3 different versions of this AI or actions. The one in the middle there being the generating our data for us, the content, whether it's your LinkedIn, whether it's your marketing people, whether it's the artists that are out there that are trying to generate more things as well. I love that generative AI. Generative AI is generally going to be used. It's used by the technology, but your users in other parts of the business are likely utilizing that generative AI more than the other 2. Now, if you're in the insurance, the actuarials and things like that are using that predictive. Manufacturers trying to use the predictive as well for the predictive maintenance and things like that. But a lot of it, of the excitement that I have right now is with this agentic AI, bringing the right information to the right person at the right time. if we go back to one of those first statistics that I threw out there, security teams today have 11,000 alerts per day. And you roll out a new tool and you go to 11,500. Some tuning may get that down to 11.1 thousand, you know. Great reduction, 80% reduction in those alerts, but those alerts for that day are going to be actionable. How do I reduce that second number though? How do I reduce that 32%? I'm not likely to reduce, maybe I can reduce the 11,000, but better tuning, better configuration, better things like that. Maybe I can use a predictive AI to figure out, yeah, we actually don't care about these. But I want to use the agentic AI as well to take action. Because if we're seeing attackers utilizing AI for their purposes, and they're discovering and exploiting in 2 minutes, how fast, you know, what's your mean time to detect? What's your mean time to respond? And what's your mean time to remediate? Is it over 127 seconds? And if so, we might want to start making some better use of technology. So that's some of the potential use of technology. There are 8 areas. There's a lot more than 8 areas, but I just threw 8 of them that are out here. So these are some use cases. Well, we'll see the use cases on the preceding slides, but enhanced threat detection. AI is great at going through large amounts of data and finding things that we miss. Used to use it, intrusion detection used to go through large amounts looking for signatures. Well, AI doesn't always need the signatures. What is normal? It can sit there and it can analyze your network for 60 days and know what normal is. And then if you know what normal is, you can spot the abnormal, or know what normal is, you can spot the evil. Whichever one you like to, abnormal or evil. What is normal, and then when things that aren't normal start happening, you can alert on it. Improving your instant response. How do I get my mean time to detect, mean time to respond, all of that to be faster? Enhanced network security. The improving of your UVM, Unified Vulnerability Management, and pen testing, and all of those things. How can we find things before somebody else finds them as well? Yes, having a red team, purple team, and all of that is fantastic. I'm hoping that they're going to start utilizing some of the...
It's used on both sides, and we got to figure out how to beat the other side.
Yes. Oh, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I turn over that rogue GPT and ask my red team to make use of that. I've got a...
Our conversation, it's still a tool. We still need to keep our mind sharp and not be so reliant on said tool, but be assistant of the tool.
See, and you talk about, is AI going to replace people? You can talk to educators now, and they're saying that the use of AI might be making their students stupider. I was going to be a little bit more politically correct, but it may be making people, removing the ability to have critical thought is what I was going to say, but yes, it could be making them stupider. Okay, yes. Oh, I touched the laptop. Hopefully, hasn't kicked that on us yet, but yes, enhancements to your SIM. When I put my first SIM out there 20 years ago thinking that SIM was going to be the way that moved our industry forward, because taking and correlating those data, creating this dashboard and bringing these things that I wanted my analysts to action, to work on. Yeah, and then we went from the SIM to the SOAR, thinking that, okay, now security orchestration, automation, and response. It was going to be SIM 2.0, 3.0, or whatever. It was going to automatically start doing things for us as well. Hasn't solved all of our problems. Cyber criminals continue to be successful. So seeing some improvements on the SIM, which culminates in SOC efficiencies. Then we'll look at better user security awareness training, and perhaps the most important one, improving our identity and access management as well. What did we talk about? Enhancing my threat detection, and I gave some examples on this as well. But anomaly detection is something that AI should be able to do quite well for us. Is it going to have bias? Am I asking the wrong things? Is it, but it should be able to find these patterns for us. So that one should be an easy one for predictive analytics. Like I said, with some of these things, if the 15 things happen and that led up to the breach, you should be able to detect along the way. So gave some of these examples already, but also improve my automated incident response. Moments matter. Now it's down to nanoseconds count. How do I automate some of my incident response? Can I automate before I assign a ticket to a person? If there are files that are out there, did you run an MD5 hash on it? Did you upload it to VirusTotal? If you're only saving 8 seconds, because you're doing all of that before you ever sign the ticket, you saved 8 seconds every single time for that person. Those seconds can be huge. So, and over the course, you're probably saving hours, days, and all of those.
Every second a vulnerability happens, and it's not reported,
See,
you're endangering everybody.
every second that it passes, if we're at 127 seconds and you just wasted 8 of them having to upload.
With respect to AI, you're talking nanoseconds, which is
Yep.
even faster.
Correct. So if we take a look, I've built many socks in my day. These are not unrealistic numbers of, oh, come on, paint in the middle. No, you cannot read that. All right, it says Salesforce login anomaly detected and a new ISP. But it's not rendering, so, all right, my colors are off on that one. So, you... Takes a moment. So, again, legacy. You have to go through all 4 of these steps to gather the information in order to start troubleshooting this. Takes you a human, 5-ish minutes to walk through every single step. That is here. Time to investigate is going to be that. Anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes. If it was 5, you know, unless you're throwing in an AI. But all right, fine. If you have that agent, that agentic AI agent that is already out there that has access to some of these systems, you're able to run some of these things. It could take your time to investigate from 20, because I said 5. So my math was off. My math wasn't mathing. I got it. So, but it can take that from 20 to 40 minutes down to about 3 minutes. Then it presents that to a human to verify that information. Human in the loop, transparent AI, all of those things. That is a huge savings every single time, especially if we have 11,000 alerts and 32% being spent on false positives. Give me that information. So one more way of enhancing my incident response. My SOC workbench, as we can start, I'm just going to paint this screen out here. Automations, gotta love them. But your SOC workbench of all those alerts that are coming through, whether it comes from your firewall or a network device, whether it's coming from an endpoint device as well, or a DLP, all of those. How do I enrich my data and correlate my data to make it actionable? Working your way down through that funnel of correlating all the events that are there. I want to give the best data to my analyst. I don't want them to have to do this. I want it to be curated data, contextualized data by the time it lands in their box. So anything we can use technology to do to enhance that or to enable them so that it's very actionable by the time it makes it down to them, because moments matter. Enhanced network security, AI-powered policies. Yes, I said firewalls on there. Old school, I still say firewalls, but AI-enabled policies is something that it truly can exist, of putting that policy in place. Now, so many firewalls I've logged onto that have 500 rules in them. How many of those rules are active? Exactly. When is the last time rule number 317 was hit? Was it ever? How do you know? What about rule number 27 that's got 87 things in the source, 27 things in the destination, and a list of ports or protocols or applications? We don't know a lot about this. And if rule number 317 will never fire because rule number 200 will always fire before. Having a human review that policy, because I owned audit back in the day, having a human audit that, they're unlikely to find any of those things. Your auditors aren't technical, they're not going to know all of those things, but utilizing AI to create these things would be fantastic. Love the possibility of some of that, or creating those rules with the agentic AI of we're seeing these things over here, these 13 happen, I'm going to throw a block here, whether it's blocking an IP, blocking things like that as well. So very excited about AI powered for policies. Same thing with intrusion detection, and able to put some preventative controls in place as well. So, and then improve for your vulnerability management. I'm throwing some things that are out here as well. Add context to things. My first management role was vulnerability management. I was very, very black and white. Patch for patch. There's a vulnerability. There's a patch. Apply the patch. You've got 30 days to apply this patch. I found the patch. I notified you. Apply the stinking patch. Patch for patch's sake, not based on risk.
Red flag it would be certain, and not red flag
Yes, yes. But if we take a look at this from a vulnerability management perspective, because I love vulnerability management, CV, it's a 7. It's solid. Are we going to patch this? Now I've got 2 systems. One system has EDR and is in a dev environment. Okay, are we going to patch that? Are we going to alert on this? Maybe, yeah, probably.
Seven.
But the other one is exposed to the internet.
I mean, do we have to pick just one, or?
It's prioritization. I mean, known exploit, your CMDB says it has PII on it, and the user associated with it clicks on every single phishing campaign that you send out there. If you can only patch one, how do we prioritize? How do I add context? How do I enhance my vulnerability management program? Continuous threat, we can talk CTIM, UVM, we can talk whatever terms we want to call. We like to change terms inside our industry all the time, but how do I add context? And once you add context, how do I put it in my systems? How do I prioritize and do all of those things? How do we make smarter decisions? I want to make data-driven. I want to make the best decisions at the time. When I did incident response, a lot of Monday morning quarterbacks, why did you make this decision at this time? And I would always, coin the term of I made the best decision at the time with the data I had at hand or with the information I had at the time. Had I had more time, had I had more data, I might have changed. So you have more data now, you have more. I made the decision, the best decision with the data I had on hand at the time. Yes, AI-enabled UVM, other things. I'm not going to go through these examples simply because of time, and we want to keep moving on. But you can get a copy of this deck. Just send me an email. You'll see my email at the end. Improving on your SIM as well. I want to bring those actionable alerts. I want to take this 32% down. I want to take these 11,000 and only put the right ones in front of my security engineers, architects. How do I find that data and bring that to the right people? How do I optimize? And how do I, as you said, take that 11,000? I want to optimize, figure out which of these 11,000 don't need to be part of the 11,000 and brought to my security analyst, engineers, analysts, but how do I optimize that SIM as well? Go through, look at the data. What is just being closed? What is being closed in bulk? Now, is that the right thing for them to be doing is another question, but what is already being done and how do I make sure that the actionable alerts go to my team as well? All of that's going to help with that SOC efficiency. All of those things, automating these tasks. Whether you believe there's a hiring issue going on in security, do we have enough people? The highest burnout rate comes from our SOC analysts. They're working in our SOCs, and the average, last time I checked, was on average they were working 13 months in the SOC. They would burn out, and then they would go. They would leave the SOC. They wouldn't just leave the SOC, they'd leave cybersecurity. They're done with cyber and they go on. They have 13 months of experience, but they're burned out with cyber and they leave our industry. How do we make our SOCs more efficient? How do we automate? How do we optimize? How do we make it suck less? We're not going to make it rosy, but how do we make it suck less? Utilizing technology to make their lives better is what we need to be doing. So that's why I like some of this agentic AI of optimizing some of these things, making some decisions, and automating some of those tasks that are out there so they don't have to upload things to the websites, don't have to go out to VirusTotal, don't have to do a screen capture, don't have to cut and paste all of these different prompts. We know those prompts are going to come in, fix some of those workflows, and populate it for them so they just have to type. Their standard things are put their evidences and screenshots in there as well. Make their life suck less. Utilize technology properly. Help SOC teams stay ahead of breaches. Absolutely. Come on, paint. If you know that you have a threat team and they're bringing you IOCs, they're bringing you TTPs, if you're utilizing the MITRE kill chain for some of your detections and all of that, are you feeding that in? And is that feeding into your workflows as well? If your threat team knows about it, does your operational team know about it? Are they implementing those things? Are they bringing those alerts based on this? Based on what? Why did that trigger? And if there's some of those TTPs, tactics, techniques that are out there, Why do we care? That data, that's so what? Why do I care? Give them that context as well. Copilot assist, all of those things, yes. All good stuff. AI-powered SIM, of course, detection response. Yeah. Analytics, very similar to what was on the previous screen, so I'm not going to go over it as well. You get a copy of the deck whenever you want as well. All right, last ones. That will cover these last two, and then we'll have more questions. But better security awareness, it can be done based on a person's role, a person's access, and a person's behavior. You can assign different levels of training. Because one person clicked on something doesn't mean their entire team, their entire group, their entire location needs additional training. Do not punish everybody because one person clicked on something. We can do better with our training. We have to do better with training. Quit frustrating people. We can do better AI training simulations. We can do better using technology to assign the proper training based on a person's role, based on their behavior, based on their activity, based on the access that they have to other systems as well. Kind of like we assign additional specialized training for developers based on what a person is doing and the behavior that the behaviors that they're exhibiting.
There we go.
Yeah, that word. And as I said, maybe the most important is going to be how do we do better with our identities as well. Identities, just-in-time access, conditional access. If we're sitting here saying, how do we keep our organizations protected? How do we keep them secure? How do I make sure that a nation-state actor is not going to get into my organization? Concerned about that. Are we concerned about the 0 days that they're going to utilize? Why would they burn a 0 day to get into your organization when they can simply log in? Leak credentials are everywhere. You can buy them. It costs you $1. Credentials are everywhere. They're not going to utilize a 0 day when they can simply log in as well. So identity is where we need to go, whether it's just-in-time access, creating an account, removing the account, conditional access. I had an admin account in my last organization that I had to go and enable the access, and I had access for 30 minutes. So even if you got access to my admin account, it had no rights, no elevated rights until I went and enabled the conditional access for 30 minutes. Just-in-time access. Do not overexpose credentials. Don't over-provision access. Well, at some point, they might need that. Well, they should only have it when they need it as well. Little statistics here. Identity is the new perimeter. Absolutely is the new perimeter. You see all of the attacks are focused on identity. They're not burning 0 days in order to get into your organization. And the last screen I'll paint here. How do we find out what accounts correlate to what user? So all 5 of these accounts, J Smith at Acme, you've got John Smith, J Smith _ at, any of these that are out there is one single user, correlating that to one user and giving one risk rating for that user. This is the thing we need to help us to fully contextualize identity so we can put a risk on a user as well, not just for security awareness training, but I need to know what that person is doing, what type of risk, any conversations that are going out there as well. So enhancing your identity. Wrapping up, AI. AI absolutely is evolving. We can't ignore it. It's a lot of potential right now, not a lot of certainties. That doesn't mean we don't start utilizing it. The business is using it. Cyber criminals are utilizing it. We're going to have to start playing with it, seeing what some of the enhancements are. Move ahead, move forward, do something, but you're not on this journey alone. Talk to other people, find out what's working for them, what's not working for them. Ask them where they're at on their AI journey and learn from each other as well. And if you want a copy of the deck, my email is in the bottom right. So, any other questions, comments, complaints? Yes, sir.
I'm curious, I'm not disagreeing with what you said, but one thing I think is interesting is shadow development is huge.
Shadow development, yes.
And most companies refuse to admit that they have developers. But if you've got cloud or any kind of modern infrastructure, you've got guys doing development work.
Yes.
Is that being addressed at all?
In what aspect?
In your SIMs and things as a quality factor to identify the folks. Because I've went to several companies and I've asked them to at least
Oh, yeah.
And they refuse to. They don't see the value in it.
Why? Or why in the world not? So, I mean, whether it's Casby's, whether it's, the cloud brokers, I want to know where my users are going. I want to know why my users are going there. I want to know what volume. If you're going out to, easy, Dropbox, okay, great. I want my users to be able to go to Dropbox, but I want them downloading from Dropbox. I don't want them uploading, unless it's corporate version. But you go into these other developers that are out there. What is our corporate version? And okay, good. Are you going to a personal version? Do you allow them to get to Gmail, your Google Suite? Well, block the personal usage. So
That's my question. Are you seeing more people trying to tackle that problem or identify it? Okay. Because to prove a point, I went out and wrote a really great PowerShell that does AD work. And it also does a callback to a DNS.
nice.
So I wanted to see how frequently it's used. And it horrified me how quickly that spread and how many pipelines it ended up in.
Yeah, and you just touched on another thing of DNS. DNSSEC has been around for decades. People aren't using it. It's like DMARC. I mean, there are ways of protecting, but nobody monitors DNS traffic. Now you got DNS over HTTPS, DNS over TLS, DOT, DOH, and all of that. The visibility into DNS traffic is scary. The amount of DNS traffic that goes out there that people have no idea anything about. So it's like, are you monitoring your DNS traffic too to understand what else our users are doing or where they're going as well? That's another blind spot that hasn't been nearly as much visibility on, and it's not a hard protocol to give you more context as well. I just haven't seen anybody who's tackling it yet. But how do you it's not hard to solve, but your applications might be making calls, and if they haven't implemented RFC properly, that's why DNSSEC a lot of times hasn't been rolled out. Yes, sir.
I want to see if you have any advice on this, or maybe knowledge of a tool that manages AI. I'm currently on a pickle, managing my privilege access management, and as we all know, we have pretty much when you're trying to segregate accounts, and especially service accounts, clean up, most of the Active Directory groups are it's like a spaghetti, right?
Yes.
You pull a spaghetti and you pull the whole thing out. There's any AI out there right now that could help to speed up the process? Because right now I'm doing manual work.
To help you find out whether those people are there, whether they're over provisioned, whether they're
Untangle, pretty much.
to help untangle some of that.
Yeah.
Or is it just from a privileged access perspective?
Also,
Also, in
yes,
addition,
yes. It's like we have service accounts whereby companies been using them for different purposes, right? But then the service accounts, when you look into Active Directory, is plugged into so many groups.
Yep.
So now you're trying to.
Well, and this is why they're like, well, this person left 3 years ago when we disabled their account. It broke these processes, so we re-enabled their account. We know they're gone, but we can't get rid of this account. This is why they have a service account that has a password and an interactive login, and they're afraid to disable that, even though it's a service account and nobody should be logging into it, but they won't rotate passwords for it.
Yeah.
And they know 3 people have left who had that password.
Or they don't know what
But they don't know how it's being used.
They're like, wait, hold on, it's broken.
Yeah, and you can put monitoring for it in place to say, did anybody use this? Well, okay, well, it's a service. It is being used. Is it being used for the right reasons? But then it's like it's a different alert if they are actually interactive logging with it. So I had alerts that would send it to my admins for that sort of thing as well. There are a couple of companies I'm aware of that are trying to go down that road. So I off the top of my head, I'm thinking like SimperSec, another jarhead. Was trying to tackle that. But I haven't talked to Rob in a couple of years, but was really interested in going out there because of the over provisioning, making sure, tackling that from an identity perspective.
Yeah.
So, and I can look for some more.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I like the presentation.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
Giving a license. The first hit's free.
And we'll use AI. The fear is hypothetically how far AI